Now stay tuned to the following radio broadcast.
You're listening to the Victory Station, AM 1360. We're glad you chose us. Thank you.
It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African-American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Impact. Got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about Punch TV. Of course, on 18.2, we're bringing in Punch TV as a part of our programming, Black owned and operated. I know you're going to be happy about that. So we're going to hear Joseph Collins talking about buying stock in the company. That's Punch TV. We got Joe Collins coming up. Also, we're going to listen to a little bit of the debates, part 2, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. But before that, I want to make sure you pick up a copy of the Florida Star newspaper and also continue to support us on Star TV. I wanted to mention, before we get into our other programming, about the Vernell Bing Memorial. Of course, you're going to look in the Florida Star and you're going to see that just before Hurricane Matthew, someone took the liberty of taking all of the flowers, all of the teddy bears, all of those things and just wiping them out, throwing them away. And so the activists came out and they said they're going to rebuild the memorial on 9th and Liberty. Of course, you know, Vernell Bing was killed by Tyler Langerville this year. And we're still waiting for the information there. So y'all stay tuned. We're going to continue to talk about the issue of Vernell Bing. But we're going to start off with talking to Joe Collins. We're going to hear him talk about Punch TV. Then right after that, you're going to hear a segment of the debates between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. This is Opioids, so y'all stay tuned right here on Impact. Got a great show lined up.
So many of my friends have been asking me, Joseph, what does it mean to own stock in your company? So I thought I would take a few moments and just kind of begin to explain the process to you so that you would understand it. What we're doing at Punch is we're basically taking our company and we've cut it up into all these little pieces. And we're taking those pieces and we're selling it to you in the form of stock. So what that means is that you own a piece of our company as a stockholder. You would own it. That's your shares of stock, which means that that's your part of ownership. You have that percentage of our company based on the amount of money that you invest in our company. You want to know, why did you sell your stock, Joseph? Why are you selling your stock for $1 a share? I want to share this with you. We could have easily chosen to sell our stock for $5 a share. We could have chosen to sell our stock for $20 a share, even $50 a share. We could have chosen to sell our stock for that. But I chose, and my team and I, we chose $1 a share because we wanted to be inclusive of everyone. We didn't want to leave anyone out, and we wanted to create an environment where people would have an opportunity to be a part of what we're doing. So that if you had a couple $100 that you wanted to put into this company, a couple $100 would get you a couple 100 shares of stock. That couple 100 shares of stock, imagine if you put in $200 and then that couple 100 shares of stock went to $10 a share. So if it went to $10 a share, that means that your $200 investment would have made you $2,000. Or imagine if it goes to $100 a share, or even $1,000 a share. So that's very important to know that each and every share will grow as the value of the company grows. So then I was asked the question, well, how do you know that the value of the company is going to grow? We are projecting, according to our business plan, we are projecting that our company will do about $500 million in revenue over the next 18 months. So if we do $500 million in revenue over the next 18 months, we're looking at a stock that will be at a minimum of about $20 a share, give or take. And we're excited about that. We're really, really, really excited about that. We're going to create a lot of new jobs. Every time we create new jobs, that's going to help the valuation of our company. But let's just say one of the movies or the films or television shows that we make becomes a major hit show. If one of those shows become a major hit show, and I'm saying just one, we're going to make hundreds of shows over the next 3 years. We plan to make about 300 new shows, 300 new movies, 300 new television shows over the next 3 years. But just imagine if just one of those shows is a breakout hit. That's going to make the valuation of the company go up tremendously, and you as a stockholder will benefit from the growth of the company. You'll benefit from the growth of the company. The other thing about us being a publicly traded company is that we have to disclose everything. We have to tell you everything that the company is doing. If the company makes $1 billion in revenue, we have to disclose that to you. If the company does a big deal and signs a big contract with someone, we have to disclose that to you. The corporate officers of the company, such as myself and others who are joining the company, we have to tell you how much money that we're making as a salary. We have to justify everything that we're doing so that you as the investor now feels comfortable making that investment in our company. The other part of this that's so exciting is that we're going to be working and creating new jobs in markets that do not exist today. We're going to be creating jobs, we're going to be creating opportunities, and we're going to be creating jobs across America and around the world. We intend to shoot movies and TV shows all over America. We intend to shoot movies and TVs and shows in different countries. We intend to shoot movies and television shows everywhere if the idea is great and we feel that the company can benefit from this movie and this show. And guess what? You as the stockholder now get to be a part and now get to benefit from what we're doing. I'm sitting right now in the Punch TV Studios Broadcast Center here in our studio. In our broadcast center, we're preparing to launch our television network, which is going to go all across the country. And you'll be able to watch Punch TV all across the country, all over the country. And guess what? If you're a stockholder, you now get to benefit from that. So that if our network division makes a lot of money, you are now can be a part of that money-making process. You now benefit from that. Your stock price could go up. Your value of your stock could go up. And guess what? The value of the company overall goes up. So by us being public, it makes everything fully disclosed. We have to tell you everything. You know as much as we know, with the exception of some proprietary information and some corporate secrets. We don't put those things out, of course. But all of the business aspects, all of the business model, all of the officers, you get to vote on who does what in our company. We wanted that kind of disclosure. We wanted that kind of transparency so that you would feel comfortable as an investor. The next thing that I want you to know as a potential investor is why we decided to sell directly to the public. Typically, when a company decides to go public, they have to go seek out an investment banker, and the investment banker will buy up the stock of the company at a discount, and then the investment banker will retail the stock out to the public, and they call that the IPO. But what we're doing here at Punch TV Studios is that we're going to you directly. And we're doing this because what typically happens, the investment banker would buy our stock at $1, for instance, and then they would sell our stock to you at $20 a share or $50 a share or $100 a share, whatever they felt that they could sell our stock to you for. So what we said to the investment bankers, and I'm getting calls from investment bankers all the time, but at this point, what we're saying to investment bankers, no, we want our stock to go directly to the public. Because the investment bankers, of course, they want to do business with us because they would have a chance to make $1 billion or maybe $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion from our stock offering and only funding our company $45 million or something to that effect. And we're saying no. We want to pass that $1 billion or that potential $1 billion in profits out the gate directly to our initial stockholders, directly to the people who want to invest with us now. We want to pass that on to you. So now you and your family, you and your children, you and your husband or wife have a chance now to benefit by we're wiping out the investment banker and we're bringing it directly to you, and you can buy directly from us, and you're actually making money by buying our stock. The next thing that I want to share to you is that we've made this process very easy. All you have to do to buy our stock is go to our website at punchtvstudios.com, and when you go to our website, click on the Invest Now link, and when you click on the Invest Now link, it'll walk you through step by step so that you can make your investment. You'll be able to buy. Now, a lot of people are asking me, Joseph, what do I do? I don't have a lot of money. What should I buy or whatever? And I'm saying to people, listen, you can invest any amount you want. You can invest $1. But if you have a little extra, you want to invest somewhere like between $500 and $1,000 depending on your income and your salary. Don't invest anything that'll hurt you, but if you can scrape up $500 to $1,000, you want to invest in our company in that way. For those of you who can do more, $10,000, of course, we've had people do $10,000 and we've had people do $100,000 and we've had people do $300,000 and we've had people do $50,000. But of course, do what you feel comfortable with and do what you feel that you can invest. That's how you want to do it. That's how you want to approach this. This is what makes it work for you. The other thing that's very important that I want to share with you is that a tremendous amount of wealth in America has been created as a result of stock market, has been created as a result of investing in companies at the ground floor, at the ground level, and then those companies have had a chance to grow and made tremendous amount of returns for those investors. And I feel like Punch TV Studios is one of those companies. I feel like that we're a company that's on the cusp of something. We're going to develop new movies. We're going to develop new television shows, and we're going to license these shows all over the world, including run them on our own network. We're going to be looking to expand the basis of our network, and you as a partner get to be a part of that. You as a stockholder get to be a part of that. You get to be a part of something that I believe is so big, so grand, that you just don't want to miss this opportunity. You don't want to miss this opportunity. The other thing is that you get a chance as a stockholder to come to the annual stockholders meeting. And many of you have probably never been to a stockholders meeting, but it is awesome. It is completely and totally awesome. And you get to learn about all the things that the company is doing, and you get to be a part of strategic meetings on how the company should function and what it does. You get to vote on the direction that the company is going. It's like this massive business party, and you get to be a part of that party because you are a stockholder. So gather your funds together and visit our website at punchtvstudios.com. Hit the Invest Now button and make your investment. Be a part of this. Be a part of the next major movement in media in the world. And you know why I'm asking you to do this? I'm asking you to do this because I believe that our ideas create magic. So join me.
Do you know what media received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being the most factual? The Florida Star. Do you know which media solely addresses issues of concern for African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know which media carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know the only media that carries a special section for our youth at home and the schedule for 3 black television networks? Now you know the Florida Star. Northeast Florida's largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star. News you can use, news you can trust. The people's choice, striving to make a difference. Subscribe today. Call 766-8834. That's 766-8834. Pick up the Florida Star at over 200 locations, or to have it delivered, call 766-8834. The Florida Star, speaking truth to power.
The question from Patrice was about, are you both modeling positive and appropriate behaviors for today's youth? We received a lot of questions online, Mr. Trump, about the tape that was released on Friday. As you can imagine, you called what you said locker room banter. You described kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals. That is sexual assault. You bragged that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly I'm not proud of it. But this is locker room talk. You know, when we have a world where you have ISIS chopping off heads, where you have, and frankly, drowning people in steel cages, where you have wars and horrible, horrible sights all over, where you have so many bad things happening. This is like medieval times. We haven't seen anything like this, the carnage all over the world. And they look and they see. Can you imagine the people that are frankly doing so well against us with ISIS? And they look at our country and they see what's going on. Yes, I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it. But it's locker room talk, and it's one of those things. I will knock the hell out of ISIS. We're going to defeat ISIS. ISIS happened a number of years ago in a vacuum that was left because of bad judgment. And I will tell you, I will take care of ISIS. So, Mr. Trump, we should get on to much more important things and much bigger things.
Just for the record, though, are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
Things that, frankly, you hear these things are said. And I was embarrassed by it, but I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those
women
things?
Have respect for me. And I will tell you, no, I have not. And I will tell you that I'm going to make our country safe. We're going to have borders in our country, which we don't have now. People are pouring into our country, and they're coming in from the Middle East and other places. We're going to make America safe again. We're going to make America great again, but we're going to make America safe again. And we're going to make America wealthy again, because if you don't do that, it sounds harsh to say, but we have to build up the wealth of our nation. Right now, other nations are taking our jobs and they're taking our wealth.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Trump.
that's what I want to talk about.
Secretary Clinton, do you want to respond?
Well, like everyone else, I've spent a lot of time thinking over the last 48 hours about what we heard and saw. You know, with prior Republican nominees for president, I disagreed with them on politics, policies, principles, but I never questioned their fitness to serve. Donald Trump is different. I said starting back in June that he was not fit to be president and commander-in-chief. And many Republicans and independents have said the same thing. What we all saw and heard on Friday was Donald talking about women, what he thinks about women, what he does to women, and he has said that the video doesn't represent who he is, but I think it's clear to anyone who heard it that it represents exactly who he is, because we've seen this throughout the campaign. We have seen him insult women. We've seen him rate women on their appearance, ranking them from 1 to 10. We've seen him embarrass women on TV and on Twitter. We saw him after the first debate spend nearly a week denigrating a former Miss Universe in the harshest, most personal terms. So, yes, this is who Donald Trump is. But it's not only women, and it's not only this video that raises questions about his fitness to be our president, because he has also targeted immigrants, African Americans, Latinos, people with disabilities, POWs, Muslims, and so many others. So this is who Donald Trump is. And the question for us, the question our country must answer, is that this is not who we are. That's why, to go back to your question, I want to send a message, we all should, to every boy and girl, and indeed to the entire world, that America already is great, but we are great because we are good. And we will respect one another, and we will work with one another, and we will celebrate our diversity. These are very important values to me, because this is the America that I know and love. And I can pledge to you tonight that this is the America that I will serve if I'm so fortunate enough to become your president.
And we want to get to some questions
Well, am I
from
allowed to
online.
respond to that? I assume I am.
Yes, you can respond to that.
It's just words, folks. It's just words. Those words, I've been hearing them for many years. I heard them when they were running for the Senate in New York, where Hillary was going to bring back jobs to upstate New York, and she failed. I've heard them where Hillary's constantly talking about the inner cities of our country, which are a disaster, education-wise, job-wise, safety-wise, in every way possible. I'm going to help the African Americans. I'm going to help the Latinos, Hispanics. I am going to help the inner cities. She's done a terrible job for the African Americans. She wants their vote, and she does nothing, and then she comes back 4 years later. We saw that firsthand when she was a United States Senator. She campaigned where the primary part of her campaign.
I want to get to audience questions and online questions.
So she's allowed to do that, but I'm not allowed to respond.
You're going to get to respond
fair.
right now.
That sounds fair.
This tape is generating intense interest. In just 48 hours, it's become the single most talked about story of the entire 2016 election on Facebook, with millions and millions of people discussing it on the social network. As we said a moment ago, we do want to bring in questions from voters around the country via social media, and our first stays on this topic. Jeff from Ohio asks on Facebook, Trump says the campaign has changed him. When did that happen? So, Mr. Trump, let me add to that. When you walked off that bus at age 59, were you a different man, or did that behavior continue until just recently? And you have 2 minutes for this.
As I told you, that was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I am a person who has great respect for people, for my family, for the people of this country, and certainly I'm not proud of it. But that was something that happened. If you look at Bill Clinton, far worse, mine are words and his was action. His was what he's done to women. There's never been anybody in the history of politics in this nation that's been so abusive to women. So you can say any way you want to say it, but Bill Clinton was abusive to women. Hillary Clinton attacked those same women and attacked them viciously. 4 of them here tonight. One of the women, who is a wonderful woman, at 12 years old, was raped at 12. Her client, she represented, got him off, and she's seen laughing on 2 separate occasions, laughing at the girl who was raped. Kathy Shelton, that young woman, is here with us tonight. So don't tell me about words. I apologize for those words. But it is things that people say. But what President Clinton did, he was impeached. He lost his license to practice law. He had to pay an $850,000 fine to one of the women, Paula Jones, who's also here tonight. And I will tell you that when Hillary brings up a point like that, and she talks about words that I said 11 years ago. I think it's disgraceful, and I think she should be ashamed of herself, if you want to know the truth.
Can we please hold the applause? Secretary Clinton, you have 2 minutes.
Well, first, let me start by saying that so much of what he's just said is not right, but he gets to run his campaign any way he chooses. He gets to decide what he wants to talk about. Instead of answering people's questions, talking about our agenda, laying out the plans that we have that we think can make a better life and a better country, that's his choice. When I hear something like that, I am reminded of what my friend Michelle Obama advised us all. When they go low, you go high. And look, if this were just about one video, maybe what he's saying tonight would be understandable. But everyone can draw their own conclusions at this point about whether or not the man in the video or the man on the stage respects women. But he never apologizes for anything to anyone. He never apologized to Mr. and Mrs. Khan, the Gold Star family, whose son, Captain Khan, died in the line of duty in Iraq, and Donald insulted and attacked them for weeks over their religion. He never apologized to the distinguished federal judge who was born in Indiana. But Donald said he couldn't be trusted to be a judge because his parents were, quote, Mexican. He never apologized to the reporter that he mimicked and mocked on national television and our children were watching. And he never apologized for the racist lie that President Obama was not born in the United States of America. He owes the president an apology. He owes our country an apology. And he needs to take responsibility for his actions and his words.
Well, you owe the president an apology because, as you know very well, your campaign, Sidney Blumenthal, he's another real winner that you have. And he's the one that got this started along with your campaign manager. And they were on television just 2 weeks ago. She was saying exactly that. So you really owe him an apology. You're the one that sent the pictures around your campaign, sent the pictures around with President Obama in a certain garb. That was long before I was ever involved. So you actually owe an apology. And number two, Michelle Obama. I've gotten to see the commercials that they did on you. And I've gotten to see some of the most vicious commercials I've ever seen of Michelle Obama talking about you, Hillary. So you talk about friend, go back and take a look at those commercials. A race where you lost, fair and square, unlike the Bernie Sanders race where you won, but not fair and square, in my opinion. And all you have to do is take a look at WikiLeaks and just see what they said about Bernie Sanders and see what Deborah Wasserman Schultz had in mind, because Bernie Sanders, between superdelegates and Deborah Wasserman Schultz, he never had a chance. And I was so surprised to see him sign on with the devil. But when you talk about apology, I think the one that you should really be apologizing for, and the thing that you should be apologizing for, are the 33,000 emails that you deleted and that you acid washed. And then the 2 boxes of emails and other things last week that were taken from an office and are now missing. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it. And we're going to have a special prosecutor. When I speak, I go out and speak. The people of this country are furious. In my opinion, the people that have been long-term workers at the FBI are furious. There has never been anything like this where emails and you get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails. And then you acid wash them, or bleach them, as you would say, a very expensive process. So we're going to get a special prosecutor, and we're going to look into it, because you know what? People have been Their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done. And it's a disgrace. And honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on that. I'm going to let you talk about email.
Because everything he just said is absolutely false, but I'm not surprised. Really? In the first debate,
the audience needs to calm down here.
I told people that it would be impossible to be fact-checking Donald all the time. I'd never get to talk about anything I want to do. And
well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Impact. You got to hear about the elections as well as Punch TV, now partner with Star TV. This is Opio. I will see you next time on Impact.